Hey, I'm Celeste.
And I'm Danielle, and we are the founders of the Somatica Institute of Sex and Relationship Coaching.
The Somatica Institute is a place where we train coaches in experiential and practical methods of sex and relationship coaching. Our goal is to really help people have the most love and secure attachment and pleasure and amazing sex with as little pain and trauma as possible. And we help people do that by training coaches and also by helping people in their own personal growth path.
And today we want to talk to you about marketing and what's all the fuss about marketing, how to do marketing. Such a mystery, and we really want to help you break it down. It's one of my favorite topics because it's like sex, there's so many myths, there's so much misinformation and promises around it. And today we want to take the opportunity to really straighten out some of these mistaken beliefs.
I know when I first started coaching out in the world, I think probably I did some of my best marketing then, even though we hadn't studied marketing and I didn't know what marketing was at all. And I thought it was some mysterious thing, but I was so obsessed with my work that all I did was talk about it. I talked about it everywhere I went, at every party. I had people climbing over each other to sit next to me so they could tell me about their erectile dysfunction. For real story. At the dinner table at a restaurant. And, I think so much of it has to do with really being enthusiastic and knowing that you are what you're marketing in some way, right? If you're there and you're really excited about it, it helps people to get excited about it. And you're talking about a topic that everyone wants to talk about if you're marketing a sex and relationship coaching practice. Like, everybody tells me everything about their sex lives as soon as I bring it up, no matter if I'm like getting my eyebrows tweezed or
Totally, yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing topic to talk about because everyone want to hear about it and people always going to have questions. It's like, oh, so if I already have you here, do you mind answering a few questions about I can't have so many orgasms recently. What's going on?
Every one of those conversations is a marketing opportunity. And we've really grown this business from the ground up. When we started, we were just new coaches out in the world, bright-eyed, like, what are we doing? What do we want to do? And I think throughout that process, we have dealt with all of the pitfalls of marketing, going down all of these paths that didn't get us any clients and didn't make any sense, or, trying to find the latest marketing guru and try to figure out what they were offering. And I think so many of those marketing gurus, they come with these crazy promises, like here's how to sell a 10-figure coaching package this year or something like that, or here's how to write a book in 10 weeks. And we found a lot of those to be very false promises. I mean, luckily we didn't sign up and bite in some of those things, but I saw people lose a lot of money and a lot of their time and energy going down these sort of quick fix paths.
Yeah, and it also creates such a feeling of I'm not good enough because you always even today, if I open some sort of promising webinar marketing that talks about I'll teach you how to make so much money, and they start to list all the things that you should do. I was like, oh my God, when I'm going to do all those things, when I'm going to do it. And the truth is that, again, today we're going to debunk some of those myths because we don't promise that marketing is easy, but we do promise that it's doable and can lead to a great results. But I think noticing your relationship with marketing is very important, because if you look at it and it's like, wow, there's so much mystery, I have no idea how to do it, and I'm sure there's going to be someone out there who will help me do it. The truth is that no one's going to do the work for you.
Yeah, I mean, we did finally actually hire one marketing consultant who was super down to earth, and she taught us how to do the work for ourselves, but it wasn't there was no magic in it. There was no immediate secret to my success. It was like, okay, get those emails gathered, write those newsletters, just a lot of day-to-day work. And, if you are going to be marketing your own business, you have to be ready to take the time in your business to do that day-to-day work. There's not a magic wand that's going to solve all of your marketing problems. And it's going to be a big chunk of your weekly work hours in order to be successful, because you really have to be at the top of people's consciousness. That's how people continue to choose you as a coach, continue to sign up for workshops that you're teaching. They need to know that you exist. And the only way to do that is to put yourself out in the world with your wisdom and, and your message.
And that brings us a little bit to talk about so I do know people who are out there, and I just spoke with someone yesterday, and they do put a lot of stuff out there, but there's something super important about when you put stuff out there to make sure that is clear and your message is very succinct and clean and clear, because sometimes you can just talk about different things and people just wouldn't know how to relate to this and how to convert it into being a client, because they wouldn't understand how you actually can help them. And this is super important.
Yeah, so I think we kind of, as we have been working all of these years to market our business, we've come up with some key principles that are really, really helpful that we try to offer through Somatica to help you learn how to live by those key principles and be able to deliver on them. And one of the really important ones around marketing is to give people a good idea of the benefits of working with you. I think when I first started talking to clients about what I do, or potential clients when I was out in the world, and I would say well, I do breath work and I help you do some exercises, right? I told them a lot of things that we're going to do in the office, but people don't actually really care about that at all. They really need to know what the benefits of working with you are. What are they going to get out of it? And it's really essential that they realize that what you have is different than what they could Google, because there's tons of advice out there and there's hot tips and tricks and, so many different ideas about what they can do. But the problem is that when people don't practice those things, they don't actually do them. I read all sorts of advice columns. Do I ever go out and do those things? No, not until I have someone, I don't know, at least to buddy up with when it comes to exercise, for example, or somebody who's really going to show me how to do the things that I want to do and give me an experience of success. So when you're marketing, if you're marketing your Somatica practice, you really want to talk about what people are going to get out of it. Like we did at the beginning of this webinar, we didn't say, we train students in a 7-module training course where we said, we help people have more joy, pleasure, secure attachment, intimacy in their lives, and less pain and trauma. Those are the outcomes. That's what people really want for themselves. And that's the message that you want to give people when you're marketing.
And I think one of the things that I hear a lot from students who took the training, that because Somatica is so experiential and because we really help you develop an understanding of how you're helping people and having help you develop this kind of roadmap, it helps them talk about what they do, and in a much more powerful way, in the way that someone calls me and have this initial call of, I have erectile dysfunction, how can you help? And then if you get, there's a series of things that you can tell them that's going to be very different than what they're going to find out there in Googling it, from the pill to all kinds of answers that are not very applicable and not very specific to who they are. So I think knowing what you offer and knowing how to describe it to the people you are helping them see how you can help them is super important. And a lot of what I hear from students that finish Somatica is that's what they got. They got this solid feeling, okay, if someone calling me with this issue, I know I can help them to move through to a different place in a different stage because I have tools to help them.
I think another really important key principle is to give people the feeling that they can trust you. And I think there's 2 main ways that people get that feeling. One is by being very trustworthy. And when I think about being trustworthy, I think one of the most important things that people want to know is that you're actually there and that you are, you're going to be behind your product, basically, which is yourself and your coaching. When we first started working together, I mean, I would get back to people when they contacted me, not within 24 hours. I would get back to people within 20 minutes. It's definitely at least getting back to people within 24 hours, and making sure that you give them options for when to book with you, and that you're there, and that you're ready to start working with them, and also that you have a good idea, as Danielle was saying, of the pathway that's going to be most helpful for them, so that you have leadership skills. I think that also makes people really, really, really trust you. So I talked to someone yesterday about taking the training, and she said, wow, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me personally. Like, the founders of organizations never talk to people personally about the trainings that they're doing, because we actually are available to do phone calls with our students, and for many, many years.
Another important point around trust is really have, know that people want to know that you're trained with a good organization that has good reputation. And Celeste and I doing a lot of work to make sure that Somatica has this good reputation. It's really important for us that happens, and also that people feel the integrity of the method, that it is something that's really not one size fits all. That's something that's really going to help them with their unique situation. And we, again, make a lot of effort to clarify that. So when you graduate and certify with Somatica, you have the organization backing you up, because you have the skill set, you have the tools, you have the language, you have the critical thinking to help your clients see things from different angles, and you have this reputation backing you up.
I think marketing is, it's something that you have to kind of start from the ground up. And when people haven't heard of you yet, sometimes it's really helpful. And we'll talk more about this with other organizations, but because we're a trusted organization, even other places that send people to coaches will list you on their website.
And they're actually very proud. They want to have someone who does Somatica on their listing, because it becomes like a modality and a method that is being sought after. So that's very helpful to have this.
And it is really helpful, in addition to to be part of a referral network. So in Somatica, we have our own referral network. We have our own listing on our website, but also all of the other Somatica students refer to one another. So if you have a potential client and you think, wow, this is actually somebody else's niche much more than mine, or these people would work so much better with this particular practitioner, or they're closer, in proximity and location. And so people are cross-referring to each other all the time and supporting each other in their business. And that's, and we've also helped so many of our graduates fill up their practices initially before they had all of their marketing materials together to put out in the world. And eventually, they don't need us anymore. And they're having their own full practices and getting all of their own referrals and doing all of their own marketing. So that's one of our goals, is to really help people fill their practices and then not need us anymore, and then help more people fill their practices.
The next generation, and it's happening all the time. It's pretty amazing to see people's practices blooming.
Somebody says, I'm a Somatica student now. How do I compete with someone else in my community who is more well-connected and calling them a sex coach? I think this is all marketing, right? What you want to do is find out what's different and unique about what you have to offer, and then start spreading the word. And that doesn't mean you have to say anything bad about what they do. You can say, oh yeah, I've heard they're amazing. And also, some of the work that I do is actually experiential and blah, 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 or I can help with this particular thing. So it's actually really more helping people recognize what it is that you have to offer that's different and unique from whoever is in the sphere around you. And in communities, like if you have one other sex coach in your community, there should be plenty of clients for both of you. So, getting the word out is really, really helpful.
Yeah, and don't worry. We had Somatica students getting together and renting a space that, and they work together. So don't worry so much about the competition. Worry it like it's more like focus on like they would refer to each other. They became like a hub of people to reach out to Somaticas in their area, which was super amazing. When you are talking about what you do, you want to like meet other professionals in the field and tell them what you have to offer. I remember Celeste and I did this like awesome open house to therapists, and we knew a few therapists that were referring people to us, and they also spread the word in their community. So it was in my house. We invited a lot of therapists, and we did some demos of what we do in Somatica. All of them became our clients. It was so awesome, and started to send their own clients to us, because it is what we have to offer in Somatica is so unique. It doesn't matter that other people are calling themselves sex coaches. They just don't do the same things. And that's what matters, to help other professionals and your clients to see and experience this difference.
There's also really good questions, and we're going to get to them in a minute. I just want to say that one more of the key principles is that, beyond marketing, you'll also need to retain your clients. To make marketing much less time consuming, it's better if you keep your clients in the long term. And in order to do that, you need to be actually helping them. So that may be one thing that also sets you apart, or sets us apart from other coaches, is that we really help people transform their lives. And people are very complex creatures, right? So it's important to understand them on a very deep level. And you need to be able to move your clients along their growth path and have them start to feel like their life is changing and there's transformation happening, so that they want to keep working with you. And it's really important to have a strong skill set and a lot of tools to be able to do that. So we really try to prepare you in Somatica for that.
Knowing your stuff is the number one most important thing that you can do in order to have a good marketing plan. Not knowing what you do is not a good plan. And also not knowing how you can help your clients, not a good plan. And not knowing how to retain clients it takes time to learn that. I think that there's like marketing involved in every session. I do it naturally because I always like to tell people what's the next step for them, and want to make sure that they understand what they're getting out of this, of the work that we do session by session.
I think one of the things that always impressed me about you, Danielle, when we first started working together, is that you're always marketing to the clients that you already had. At the end of each session, you would tell them what they got out of it. And then you tell them what they're going to do in the next session and what they're going to get out of that. And that doesn't, if they come in with something different, you might not end up doing that particular thing that you planned, but she's already getting them like thinking, oh, there's a next step that I need to do, like marketing her the next piece of work that needs to be done. And in order to do that, you have to have a little bit of a vision of the pathway of healing that people go through. And that's something we really focus on in Somatica as well, helping people have that. But I think like the big scary thing that people are always running around talking about is a business plan.
I'm going to say it again, the business plan.
Who is sitting around being like, oh God, I have to write a business plan.
That sounds so daunting, right?
That's really daunting. And you don't have to write a business plan. I don't think. Remember when we wrote the business plan? We haven't talked about that yet, right?
Yeah, no, but I want to talk about it for a second, because we had one of our friends coming, and he wanted to help us write a business plan, and he came to our office. Back then was Celeste house, and he just brought all those like white papers and markers. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to spend hours here writing a business plan, and it felt like so intense, but then it was pretty short, and we had a good time.
Yeah, and we found our main core value, which is makes me wet, which has been the guiding principle of our business from the beginning. So if it doesn't make us wet, we don't want to do it. What kind of work is most interesting to you? What do you really want to focus on? Because if you find that there's something that's like super exciting to you, like I've talked to some people recently on the phone who are really interested in kink or BDSM, or I've talked to people who are really interested in working with women or want to do couples work, and they kind of want to focus in. And somebody asked us like, well, what is your niche and how has that changed over time? When I first did this work, like I only wanted to work with single men. Remember, Danielle? I was like,
I do.
Send all the men to me.
I'll work with all the women. Yeah.
Now my practice is mostly like lesbian couples, so that's an ironic twist of fate. But I did feel like I had so much fun working with men, and it was really something that I felt like I was great at. And then over time I was like, okay, well, that was super fun, and now I'm ready to work with a different group of people and work with different issues. So I think it can change over time, and you want to listen to like what excites you and which clients are like, oh, I can't wait for them to walk through my door, because that's a good way to figure out like what is your niche.
And then you want to really crystallize your message, because if you know who the people you want to work with, and where, like what is the topics, like what really excites you and turns you on to work with, you want to crystallize the message of how you can help those people.
So like once you have some sort of overall idea of what kind of work you really want to do, who you want to do it with, and what is your unique message, like the voice that you want to bring out in the world and the content that really represents who you are and what you have to offer. The next piece is to actually do the practical work of marketing. So that's the kind of like step by step, day by day work that you need to do. And one of the hardest things about doing it is actually just doing it. I think knowing what to do is one thing, and then actually getting down to doing it is another thing. And in Somatica, we're really continuing to think like we want to help people we want to help people be successful coaches, content wise, and successful business people. So we're focusing more on how we can help people get that, do the week, every couple of weeks grind. And I'm actually going to start sitting down with people who are in the certification track every other week, and we're just going to do some talking at the beginning, and then we're going to do some writing, or whatever else you need to do, planning your website, whatever else you need to do, because I know it'll keep me on my marketing groove, and it'll help other people keep in their marketing groove as well. I think part of what you need to start doing is learning your niche and its unique needs, and also like crystallizing your message over and over and over again. Like, what is it that I really, really want to say to people?
I wanted to understand all of this is an evolvement. It's something that happens as you get to know yourself more. You don't have to figure out all those things right away. And it takes time to learn and experiment and see who you are and what's better for you to shine in those areas. Of course, in the training, we're going to go through them much more in depth, helping you find what is your niche, helping you find your sandbox, helping you find your message. And again, those things are also evolving. You might start in one way, as Celeste said, and then you transition to doing something else.
It is really important to find your marketing channels that you feel the best in. And yes, some of them are less sex friendly than others. Facebook, doesn't allow you to do a lot of marketing in the sex realm in terms of doing ads, but we've still done tons of connecting over Facebook. And it is probably just a place that we're more comfortable in. We keep thinking like, oh gosh, we have to make Instagram happen or make TikTok happen or something like that. And both of us are just like, I don't know, it's not really exciting. Doesn't make us wet. It doesn't seem to be something that we're motivated to do. And so we have really found the channels that we feel most comfortable in. And we want to help you find the channels you feel most comfortable in. We have one student who's like the TikTok queen, and she's just getting tons and tons, she's getting people signing up for her webinars by doing these TikTok videos all the time. We are so proud of her, and we so don't want to do that. So one size does not fit all, and you need to find the channels that fit your personality and that are of the most interest to you to get your work out. And that's something that we help people, look at. What are all of the different channels? What kind of personality do you need to have those different kind of channels, or to participate and engage with those different kinds of channels?
And also remember, you don't have to do everything. Sometimes it's better to stick with one channel or two channels that are really comfortable for you and you shine there, and then it's easy for you to go and check it out, than to go to places that you feel super intimidating and always have this like hovering feeling like, oh, I need to do that, but I'm not doing it. It's really demoralizing. It's better to find channels that you feel excited about than channels that you feel blah about.
Because the world is now on the web, Our recognition is much more universal because we're at this top of many search engines. We have worked years and years of building content and building websites that get us to the top of those engines to make it so that, you know, people, when they look for a coaching training, when they look for a coach for help, they see Somatica first. And that really helps with recognition all over the world. And the training now, because it's online, is actually we're getting students from all over the world much more often now. So we're really excited about that and about continuing to spread it as a worldwide organization.
It's a great question. If you loathe marketing on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, what are your thoughts on primary marketing via word of mouth? Again, I think it's fabulous. I don't think necessarily that Facebook marketing is better than word of mouth marketing. Creating workshops, reaching out first to the people that you already know. You know, I remember the first workshop we taught. Well, I don't have lots of relatives in the US because I'm an immigrant, but Celeste knew so many people. The first email we wrote was to all the people that Celeste knew. And we had a full workshop with all the people that Celeste knew that brought their friends into the workshop. So, you know, like that's a very valuable and powerful way to market. And it's, again, know yourself. Some people do not care much about, there's no proven information that doing Facebook marketing is better than doing in-person marketing. It's actually probably the opposite because there's much more personal contact. If you enjoyed our talk today, like us on YouTube, and we would love to see more of you in other webinars and on our YouTube channel. I think the like us is on Facebook, but like us on Facebook and then subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube, that's right.
Somehow ringing the bell too, and ring the bell, I think. I don't know much about that, but hey.
Clearly, we know all the ins and outs.
We know everything about it, right?
Yes, find your niche. It's so important to know what you want to do. Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Bye.